Both the Watch 5 and Watch 5 Pro are available to buy right now, with retailers including most of your usual suspects and Samsung's online store. Pricing has increased across the board for Samsung's watch line since last year's Watch 4, and as with last year's launch. The Galaxy Watch 5 arrives in two sizes, each available in both Bluetooth-only and Bluetooth plus LTE cellular configurations. The smaller, 40mm Watch 5 starts at $279.99, and if you want to pick up the LTE version, it'll bump up the price to $329.99. The Galaxy Watch 5 brings back the distinct, contemporary stylings we were introduced to with last year's Watch 4. If you're coming from a Galaxy Watch 3 or Watch 4 Classic, though everything's very different. There's no rotating bezel in sight. Instead, you interact with an invisible digital bezel around the screen. If you're new to the Galaxy Watch line, the core watch screen is one side of a polished metal disc, while on the reverse is the heart rate monitor and other health sensors. On the Watch 5, once you've picked your case color, you can choose from a range of bands. There are 11 sports band colors, 2 D-buckle sports bands, a global goals band, a hybrid leather band, Ridged and Extreme sports bands, and finally, a Milanese band. The Watch 5 silicone band material is also hairy wrist-friendly, and has a perpetual matte texture that keeps it from tugging on the skin too. For someone not used to wearing a smartwatch, the Watch 5 is a soft landing when it comes to comfort. It isn't too big, and the default sports strap keeps it in place. Despite offering bigger batteries in this year's lineup, the footprint of the Watch 5 hasn't grown at all compared to the Watch 4. This isn't just to accommodate the bigger batteries. Samsung says this results in more accurate tracking. Interacting with the watch is intuitive enough. It's a story of swipes, taps, and button presses. Samsung's Watch 5 also benefits from IP68 certified ingress protection against dust and water, swim-proofing up to 5 ATM, and MIL STD 810H approval, meaning it's tested to withstand challenging conditions, including hard knocks and drops, temperature extremes, and more. In our time with the watch, we dinged the screen against a metal table frame, and despite being convinced it was a goner when we felt it thud, the Watch 5 came off totally unscathed. Both Watch 5 sizes have circular Super AMOLED screens, with the 40mm model's screen measuring 1.19 inch, and the 44mm model's screen sporting a larger 1.39 inches, slightly sharper than the Apple Watch 7 at 330 pi. It's interesting to see Samsung steer clear of square and rectangular alternative designs, despite most of its competition Amazfit with the GTS series, Huawei with its Watch Fit, and Fitbit going that route. The Watch 5's display quality is very good. In fact, the whole interface consistently overlays rich, vibrant colored elements over inky, deep blacks that disappear into the bezel, making for an engaging UI. The big upgrade to the Watch 5's display isn't in its tech, but materials, though. If you want to change your watch face, that can be done by long pressing it, or through the smartphone app. As for the smartphone apps, to get the Watch 5 synchronized with your phone, you'll need to download the Galaxy Wearable app. Yep, while it runs Google's Wear OS, the Watch 5 won't work with the Wear OS app. Once you install Galaxy Wearable from the Play Store, you can pair and customize your Watch 5's smart features. First, you need to download an altogether different app, Samsung Health, to take advantage of any of its health tools, and then you'll need the Watch 5 plugin before you can really start using your wearable. If you don't have the watch paired with a Samsung phone, there are a few compromises out of the gate. The camera app is missing from the Watch 5, so you can't use your timepiece as a viewfinder and remote shutter for your smartphone. If none of that concerns you, though, then everything else on the Watch 5 seems to work well on non-Samsung Android phones, though there's no iOS support. The Watch 5 features Bixby, Samsung's own assistant by default, which works well once you're signed into your Samsung account. You can uninstall these, but the first two in particular are overkill. One feature we do love is the phone call functionality of the Watch 5. Unlike some other smartwatches, you can initiate calls from the Watch 5 too, calling anyone in your phone book hands-free, with only a small 13% increase in capacity over the Watch 4. While the Watch 5 should offer better battery life than its predecessor, expecting more than a day from it is optimistic. What Samsung has markedly improved is the charging process for the Watch 5, thanks to a new USB-C ended charger. So even if you don't have a Samsung phone with wireless power share, your smartphone can still top up your Galaxy Watch 5.